Here are some examples of the pressure. See, there is a tractor and it has large tires. So these tires actually spread over the large area, means that they have the large cross-sectional area. I can simply say that the tires of the tractor spread the given force over a large cross-sectional area. Then according to the formula, P is equals to F over A. When the force is constant, it does not change and cross-sectional area is large. What you can say about the pressure? The pressure would be small because force is constant, there is no effect of the force on the pressure, but the area is large, means that area is increasing, accordingly the pressure has to be decreased. So I can simply say that the tires of the tractor spread the force over a large cross-sectional area which causes the decrease in pressure. What is the advantages for this decrease in pressure? The low pressure actually prevents the heavy tractor from sinking into the mud. It's given here. Tractor have large tires, so these tires spread the force of the tractor over a large area, means that large cross-sectional area which causes the reduction in pressure, so that when the force is spread over large area, the pressure decreases. Thus, low pressure prevents the heavy tractor from sinking into the mud. Due to this low pressure, the tractor cannot sink into the mud. Here you can see that there is a box whose dimension is 4.0 centimeter, 2.0 centimeter multiplied by 7.0 centimeter. There are three faces mentioned here for that box, X, Y and Z. So you actually have to tell here which face of the box exert the least pressure. So for which one of the following face X, Y and Z, the pressure is least. First of all, you have to understand the formula of the pressure, which is F over A. The pressure depends upon two factors. One is the force and the second one is the area. When the force is larger, the pressure would be larger because pressure and force, both of these are directly proportional to each other. You can also see the relationship between the pressure and area. Both of these are inversely proportional to each other. It means that when you increase the cross-sectional area, the pressure accordingly decreases because both of these are inversely related with each other. Now you have to see the box and there are three faces X, Y and Z. Observe that for which one of the face the cross-sectional area is larger, means that for which one of the face the area is larger. So here it's the face Y for which the area is larger. It means that when for the face Y the area is larger, of course it will exert the small pressure. The pressure for the area Y would be small. Next, we also have to see the force because pressure depends upon two factors, the area and the force. So first of all, you know that the force from each face remain here same. It is because of the reason the force depends upon the mass. The mass of this box is not changing. According to the second law of motion, F is equals to ma. Here, the mass is basically the factor that on which the force depends. So for that box, the mass remains same. There is no change in the mass of this box. When the mass of this box remains the same, the force would be same. There is no change in the force. So I can simply say that here the force is constant. And the cross-sectional area for the Y face is larger as compared to X and Z. That's why the pressure would be smaller exerted by the face Y. Because pressure and area, both of these are inversely proportional to each other. The same reason is given here. A box of dimension 4 cm times 2 cm times 7 cm is shown. As the force on each face of the slab remains same, there is no change in the force and the area of the face Y is larger as compared to the phase x and z. So for the phase y, the area is larger as compared to the phase x and phase z. Also, you know that pressure is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. When the area is larger for the phase y, of course this phase exerts the least pressure. So I can simply say here the pressure exerted by the phase y is smaller than x and then z. So it's the phase y that exerts the least pressure here. Which shoes exert the large pressure? So here you have to tell that there are two kinds of the shoes. One is the heel and the other shoes is flat. So which one of the following exert the large pressure? The same you have to apply here the formula for the pressure. P is equals to force per unit area. See that force remains the constant because mass of these shoes are not changing. It means that force is constant here. Next you have to see the area. See here the shoes that has heel, they exert force over the small area. The area in this case is smaller. When the area is small, next you have to see the relationship between the pressure and the area. I can simply say that pressure is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. When for the heel shoes, the cross-sectional area is smaller, the pressure would be larger. So for the heel shoes, the pressure is larger. We also have to see the flat shoes. The flat shoe exerts the force over the large area. When here the area is large, according to the same relation that pressure is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area, when the area is large, the pressure exerted by this would be small. So I can simply say that in this case, the heel shoes exert more pressure than the flat shoes. You can also see here, the shoes with the heels exert more force over the small cross-sectional area. Therefore, the pressure exerted by the heels is larger. The heels exert the larger pressure here. However, because of the force from the flat shoes spread on large area, accordingly the pressure becomes small because here the cross-sectional area is large. Which diagram shows an athlete exerting the least pressure on the ground? So here is the example. You have to tell that either which athlete exert the least pressure on the ground. First of all, again consider the formula of the pressure. P is equals to force per unit area. The pressure is directly proportional to the force and pressure is inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. The force in the case of athlete remains constant. It is because of the reason the mass of the athlete does not change. When the mass of the athlete does not change, the force remains same. Next, we have to see the relationship between the pressure and area. Here we have to show that where there is least pressure, the pressure is small only when the cross-sectional area is large. You can see in the figure B, the athlete is lying horizontally. In this figure, the pressure is smaller because here the cross-sectional area is larger. It means that it's the athlete B for which the pressure is least. If we talk about A, C and D, in all of these cases the cross-sectional area is smaller due to which the pressure is larger. So let's see the answer and explanation for that. The force applied to the ground is determined by the mass of the athlete. The force actually depends upon the mass of the athlete. The force remains the same because the mass of the athlete is not changing. When the mass of the athlete does not change, the force remains the same. You know that pressure P is equals to force per unit area. Pressure is defined as force per unit area When the force remains constant, means that the value of the force is not changing, then what will happen? The pressure exerted by the athlete is determined by the area in contact with the ground. Then after that, when the force is constant, the pressure is basically dependent on the area. The area that is in contact with the ground basically determines the pressure exerted by the athlete. In this case, the pressure exerted by the athlete B is least as compared to the other. Means that cross-sectional area is larger, due to which the pressure would be small. So it's the athlete B for which the pressure is small because the area for that is larger. Here is the example question. In the diagram you can see there are two boxes that are shown in A and B. A rectangular box rests on ground as shown in figure A. When the block is turned as shown in a figure B, how does this change affect the force and the pressure exerted by the block on the ground? So basically in the figure A, the block stands vertically, but in the figure B, this is basically horizontally. You have to describe here the effect of this change. What would be the effect on the force and the pressure by changing the position of the block? So first of all, pressure is force per unit area. First of all, you have to see that what is the effect on the force. The force in this case remains the constant because it's the same box. The mass of the box is not changing. That's why the force is constant. It remains the same. When the force value does not change, next it means that the pressure basically determined by the area which is in contact with the ground. So I can simply say that the pressure is inversely proportional to the area. In the figure A, here the cross-sectional area is smaller for the box A. When the cross-sectional area is small, what you can say about the pressure? Either the pressure is larger or small. As by the given relation, the pressure and area, both of these are inversely proportional to each other. It means that when the area is smaller, the pressure would be large. So for the box A, the pressure is larger. When we turn the box such that it lies horizontally, in this case you can observe that the area is larger. When the area is large, accordingly the pressure would be small. So when you turn the box, the force remains same but the pressure decreases. Let's see the answer and explanation. The mass of the block determines the force it applies to the ground. So mass of the box basically determines the force as it applies on the ground. The force remains the same. Why the force remains the same? Because the mass of the block is not changing. And you also know that pressure is force per unit area. When the force remains same, it does not change. The pressure is determined by the area. So you can see here, when the force is constant, when the value of the force is not changing, the block's pressure is determined by the area that comes into contact with the ground. So that's why when the force remains constant, the pressure is determined by the area that is in contact with the ground. That's why the pressure that blocks apply on the ground decreases when it is turned, because in this case the cross-sectional area increases. So I can simply say that by changing the position of the block, the force remains same but the pressure decreases. Here is the exam question that appeared in February-March 2016. A force acts on the area to produce a pressure. When you apply the force on the area, it produces a pressure. Which changes produce the same pressure? Here the pressure that is produced is P. Here are different possibility for changing the area and the force. We have to tell that which one of the following would be correct so that the pressure does not change. It remains the same. You know that pressure is force per unit area. Just use this formula and guess that which one of the following cases has the same pressure. In the option A, double the area and double the force. B, double the area and half the force. C, double the area and makes the force 4 times bigger. D, half the area and double the force. So if I use here the prime notation, which shows that it's the new values after change. So by considering the option A, I write the new pressure which is represented by P prime. It would be equals to the new force is double. So I write here 2F divided by the area is also double. So there is 2A. 2 cancels with 2. So here is F over A, which is the formula of the pressure. It means that the pressure does not change, it remains the same. In the option B, double the area and half the force. Let's see the option B. If I use here P prime, it would be equals to, the force is half, so it would be 1 over 2F, but the area is double, it's 2A. When you solve this, it comes to be 1 over 4 F over A. It means that here the pressure decreased by the factor of 4. So the new pressure is basically 1 over 4 times the previous pressure. In the C, double the area and makes the force 4 times. Let's see the option C. Here the new pressure is, force is 4 times, so there is 4F divided by the area is double, 2A. When you solve this, it comes to be 2P. So in this case, the pressure becomes double. In the D, here the area is half, but the force is double. So let's write here P prime is equals to, the force is double, here is 2F, divide it with 1 over 2A because area is half. When you solve this, it comes to be 4 times the previous pressure. So in this case, the pressure becomes 4 times. But here we have to tell that for which one of the following case the pressure remains same. The previous pressure is P and it's the A for which the pressure is P. It means that from here the option A is correct. Let's see the answer and explanation for that. You know that pressure is equals to force per unit area. If we double the area and force, both they will cancel out due to the division. So just put here 2 times force and 2 times area, you get the previous formula for the pressure. It means that it's for the A, that the pressure does not change, it remains same. So after that, I can simply say that answer A is correct from here. Here is again our exam question that appeared in May-June 2021. The book has a mass of 400 gram. The surface of the book in contact with the table has dimension 0.10 meter times 0.20 meter. The gravitational field strength G is 10 Newton per kilogram. What is the pressure exerted on the table due to the book? So basically here we have to find out the pressure. Answer A, 0.08 Newton per meter square. B, 8.0 Newton per meter square. C, 20 Newton per meter square. D, 200 Newton per meter square. So first of all, see here, pressure is equals to force per unit area. By the dimension, you can easily calculate the area. But when you have to calculate the force, actually here you need to use F is equals to ma, because here the acceleration is gravitational acceleration which is given by the gravitational field strength G. So I can simply say here F is equals to m times G. Just put here value, the mass of the book is given and also the gravitational field strength is given. Just multiply both of these to get the force, and by the dimension of the table you can easily calculate area. Just divide both of these, you get the pressure. So let's see the answer and explanation. Here you can see the mass is 400 gram and you need to convert into kilogram. So I just write here 400 over 1000. To convert the mass into kilogram, you get 0.4 kilogram. Acceleration is given which is equals to G and its value is 10 Newton per kilogram. You know that pressure is force per unit area, and according to Newton's second law of motion, F is equals to ma. Just put here the value of the mass and acceleration. Mass is 0.4 times acceleration is 10. You get the force which comes to be 4 Newton. So the force in this case comes to be 4 Newton. Next, the dimension of the table is given. You just multiply both of these to get the area. Put this value in the formula, that is pressure is equals to force per unit area. Force is 4 Newton and area is 0.02. You get the pressure that comes to be 200 Newton per meter square. So answer D is correct from here. Let's go back and see the answers. 200 Newton per meter square is given in the answer D. It means that answer D is correct from here.